Pausa rapidinho agora para falar de dica de ouro para os papais e mamães. Depois de experimentar a nova Hug Supreme Care Fralda Roupinha, tudo ficou ainda melhor pro meu filho. É a única com canais em X que se adaptam aos movimentos, com 2 vezes proteção noturna e cintura elástica que se adapta ao corpinho do bebê, além de ser super fácil de colocar e tirar. Praticidade pura. Então guarda essa dica. Nova Hug Supreme Care Fralda Roupinha. Bebê, estamos juntos nessa, mais do que nunca. Agora curta seu podcast.
Doctor, look!
Stand aside, nurse. I'm Dr. Homebrew.
Stand clear.
All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Dr. Homebrew. We are back. We're hanging out. We got a bunch of beers to drink. We're sipping on right now some form or another, South Lake Brewing Company. I have a pale ale. Bill, who works the showroom in More Beer, was kind enough to give us a little taster pack. Cooper has the hazy IPA. Oops, hold on. I muted you. Go ahead.
It's pretty fresh. It's called Fog Nozzle.
Fog
And, yeah, it's a hazy IPA.
Yeah. Shar, did you open yours or no?
You know, I had the pale ale last night, and
Okay.
I thought it was exemplary. It was really tasty. It was a pale ale and not an IPA.
Yes.
Totally, no off flavors, nothing wrong. It was type of beer I could drink all day long and be real happy about it.
Yeah, I'm drinking it right now. For me, it's a little dry and a little bit too bitter. But as far as like a West Coast pale ale, it's hard to beat that because it's very refreshing. And
Yes.
some pale ales aren't that because, like you said, they're sort of leaning more IPA.
Yeah.
It's
Or they're too malty and not attenuated enough, or there's in that. And I like that dry aspect of it that you were not so in love with.
Yeah, I'm not a giant fan because then it just sort of drinks like a low ABV IPA. I mean, it's 5.4.
Too crisp. Yeah.
It's a little too crisp. I want a little bit of crystal malt in there, but I'm a Sierra Nevada guy, so whatever.
Yeah.
But look, don't get me wrong. I do like it, especially cold out of the fridge. I'm happy with it. So cheers to Bill and South Lake Tahoe people.
Yep.
South Lake Brewing Company, excuse me. Anyway, before we get to Ben, who was on the show after the great Schlenkerla interview, which we can't stop talking about, apparently, I want to thank our five. It's a tired, man. I'm tired. I'm having a hard time today. I want to thank our show sponsor, 5 Star Chemicals. You can go to 5starchemicals.com right now and learn about everything they got going on over there. Things that'll blow your mind. And I still remember where I was when I learned that PBW was now in liquid form. And I almost bought some at the homebrew shop. Like, I almost bought it. I'm like, no, I don't know. I think it's cool, but I sort of like, when you're old, Cooper and Shar, you guys know this. Ben and I don't know this yet, but when you're old man, and you're sort of like in your pattern of like, part of the way that I prepare my cleaning chemicals is I put them in the bucket, put the hot water in, and I stir it up, and I see the things disappear, and like that's how I know. And you hear your spoon scrape the granules on the side of and you just like, I don't know, there's like some things about the brew day. So I don't know. So I opted not to do it, but maybe I'll pick some up in the future. But anyway, all that kind of stuff. Check it out, 5starchemicals.com. Join their homebrew club program over there too. Costs nothing, and it might even end up saving you a couple bucks. So check them out. 5 stars, great. Yeah. We love them. Thank you very much.
I'm on their site too, and they've got it separated out by categories. You can look at stuff for breweries, stuff for distilleries. They've got PBW tablets now as well, and maybe they've had that for a while. But
tablets seem like a cool thing, man.
Yeah, I got a little.
I saw those. I saw those at More Beer too. I forgot about those.
Convenient.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah.
Ben, welcome back, dude.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, good to see you again, man.
Yeah, glad to be back.
So we have a blonde ale from you.
Sure.
All right, let's do it. Is this something you've done before?
In various iterations, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
Cool.
All right, that's cool, man. I like a good blonde ale. I feel like you don't really see those very often. They were very, I think, big in the early aughts and, whatever. But it sort of went away, and then 805 came, and I think most people like I can't. How am I going to make something that can compete with that?
Yeah,
I do think there is that where it's just like it's just the perfect fucking blonde ale, so I'm not going to do it commercially or whatever. I'm going to stick with my pastry stout, shove marshmallows up my ass while I brew it, and then it'll be great. I don't know. Anyway, all right, and so some various iterations you've done this before, so let's bust into this. Shar, why don't you lead off the judging with this concept, please?
I sure will. So first, Ben, thank you so much for sharing this with us. I have to ask my usual question. Are you in a homebrew club?
No, still not in a homebrew club.
Okay, that's
Hadn't
fine.
joined one since the last time, even despite the arm twisting.
Yeah,
Exactly. Hey, you do you, man. Maybe you're a club of one, and that's all right.
Yeah.
Keep asking me. I'll get there eventually.
Yeah, if you live near Ben, why don't you just join his club of one?
His address is
The next time someone says that, saying, lone wolf, just say, antisocial, huh? Well, he's talking to us. I don't.
Yeah, what we're going to start doing is we're going to start putting all you lone wolves on the Dr. Homebrew watch list. And it's not like what you think. You can still do whatever, but the red flags will be if you haven't joined a club within a year, you're going to get a visit from us.
It'll be the wolf hunt section of our website where a club finds this person and harasses them to no end until they finally join.
That's right. We're like Scientology that way. Yeah.
Welcome to our club.
We need to start getting your body yeasts off of you, and you need to connect you to a machine, and it's only going to cost you $1 million for us to make you go homebrew clear. So that's all right. You'll love it. So thank you for sharing this beer. I judged this. I jumped the gun on judging this like before the last show, and I drank the only bottle I have. So I'm going to give you my score sheet that I made a month or two ago. So sorry about that, but I do remember drinking this beer, having reviewed this. Bottle inspection, it's appropriate, had a low hiss on opening, which made me wonder a little bit if maybe it was a little undercarbonated potentially. Aroma, medium-low base malt and a low hop aroma, berry fruity character, and a low bready aroma. No esters or off aromas. I gave that 7 out of 12. There was an awful lot going on in the aroma for a blonde ale, which is not without character, but it is one of the lighter aroma and flavor beers that you can make. Yeah, appearance was hazy. Color was a medium tan, light brown, much darker than expected for style. Head was white, medium in size, with long retention. So gave the appearance 1 out of 3. Flavor initially was medium low in malt, more bready than base malt. That's not inappropriate. And actually, I kind of liked. I distinctively remember that bready character, which I did like. Slightly sweet, like a fresh it did have a fresh baguette character to it. If you've ever had a real fresh baguette, and just the crust is great, and then that bread inside is just phenomenal. A little bit sweet, a little bit like Pilsner malt. It was really tasty. Hop bitterness came up to medium level to balance in mid palate. Very low hop flavor that was sort of fruity berry character, less than the flavor than there was in the aroma. Finish is long and balanced toward malt. Flavor overall, I thought was a bit muddled. I gave it 13 out of 20 for flavor. Mouthfeel, medium body, low carbonation, less than expected for the style, and that low hiss on opening kind of unfortunately kind of bore that out as being a low carbonation. No warming, creamy, no astringency, gave that 4 out of 5. So overall impression, I gave it a 7 for a total of 32. This is an easy drinking beer that it lacks, obvious off flavors, but it also lacks the brightness present in the best examples of this style. I did wonder if maybe there was some bottle variation in this. You never know. Maybe somehow, packaging, I don't know if you keg or if this was bottle condition. getting carbonation right in something that you're moving from a keg to a bottle is devilishly difficult, even with a beer gun, with counter pressure, whatever you're using. It can be really tough. The fact that it was kind of hazy and the flavor was muddled made me think something either went wrong in fermentation or maybe something happened in this particular bottle. I would make the usual suggestions about sanitation. Make sure you clean with PBW and then sanitize with Star San, whether it's your fermenter or your bottles or whatever's going to touch a cool wort. And I also wanted to suggest, and I made a note to make sure to use a sort of a neutral yeast like WLP 001 that's suitable for the style. I must have had, and again, I apologize. It's been a month or two since I've judged this. I clearly had something that made me think it might have been a yeast issue with the selection of yeast. But overall, it was not entirely to style, but it wasn't something that I wanted to, throw in the sink immediately. It was tasty to drink, and I appreciate you sharing. Thanks so much.
That's the level of compliment. Like, look, I didn't want to kill myself after drinking it. So I think that's a positive.
I didn't want to throw the glass at my foot and break my toe.
Yeah, I did abuse my dog after it, though. So go ahead, Cooper.
All right. I'm drinking the 18A blonde ale. I did
drinking that blunt.
Judge it June 11th, and here we are, end of July, so a month and a half ago. And it's I can tell the difference. I wanted to judge this fresh because we were doing your other beer. We got that and judged it, and then I'm like, let's judge this blonde ale. So I told him, and then we both judged it and didn't really discuss it a whole lot, but we got it while it was fresher, so that was good. And I think that was the right time to do it, because it's a little different now. But in the nose, I got a medium clean light bready malt up front, clean ale fermentation. I'm not getting any off aromas, light esters, low floral, faintly spicy hop at a pretty nice level. It's letting the malt win and just kind of there. No DMS or diacetyl. It's kind of what you expect in a blonde. It's not super challenging to anyone's senses. I scored it fairly well on aroma. It was inviting, and it just told me, hey, this is a blonde ale. And it was a summer morning. We were getting ready to judge. Beer hits you a little different when you judge that first beer in the morning on a competition, and it's at 9, 10 a.m. you're drinking beer. It's just a different thing, because it's like something like a blonde ale could come across as a little more than what it is after you've been drinking, rum barrel aged brown ales for an hour or two. Anyway, back to the beer. Yellow, kind of a lightish yellow color. Clarity was a bit impaired by some moderate haze. It's got a little bit of haze in there still on this sample. The head is medium low, fluffy white foam stand. That stuck around pretty well. I gave it 2 out of 3 for appearance. In the flavor, I felt the beer was pleasant and soft overall. Malt is lightly sweet at a medium level. It's bready. It's the beer is not cloying at all. I hate it when they get too sweet. They've got to finish, moderately dry, not bone dry, but just enough to leave a taste of sweetness with that malt, and lets the bready malt shine there with everything else that's here. The bitterness is low. The beer is cleanly fermented ale. Again, the finish is, like I said, kind of semi-dry, just enough sweetness to let it, play right. The hops come out at the end with a light floral note lingering into the aftertaste with that malt. But yeah, the malt wins here too. And retasting it now, I think I'm getting a little bit of a honey-like aspect. Could be a little bit of oxidation creeping in, and maybe the flavors are a little more muddled than when I first tasted it. But I remember what it tasted like, and it was morning, and I was just happy to have a beer. But it's very clean and very flavorful for a blonde ale. Medium light body towards medium, no alcohol warmth. But it does have a light prickle from the carbonation, and I felt the carbonation was fine. It's like a medium and the head's still sticking around even after yapping and drinking it here. There's enough of a prickle in there. It's not like gushing or way over the top, but you could go a little higher on the carbonation. It wouldn't hurt it, but I didn't think it was low necessarily. The beer is somewhat creamy, smooth. It just, hits most of the marks there. Again, for a blonde, it's what you see is what you get. It's a light malt oriented beer without too much in the way of hops and a little sweetness and just like those old homebrew pub specialties. You would get the blonde ale, they'd have the pale ale, they'd have
before
IPA.
Beer names were like
sometimes
a thing.
You were lucky if they had an IPA, and then maybe a porter and a stout.
Yeah,
and no sours, nothing. Once in a while there'd be a.
That was before you had to out weird the next brewery in the town over with their names, where it's like things were just a style and that was it.
Yeah, it was just blonde ale. There were
blonde ale. Oh, what's Mick Tarnahan's Revenge? Oh, that's a blonde ale. Why? Why is it called that? I don't know. It's because skateboarding razor blade was taken.
Right.
Skateboarding razor blade sounds like a pretty rad name for a beer.
You can
the
use
beer
it.
It's you could do with an even lighter body. I think to be a bit more thirst quenching is the one thing I would say about it. But it's pretty nice as it is. I landed I'm going to land at a 37 on this, and I'm a little higher than Brian, but I feel like it's kind of where it needs to be, and there's not a lot wrong with it at all. It's aging now, and so as judged as it is, it'd probably be more towards the mid 30s or somewhere in there. But yeah, I think get it a little more crisp, and it's probably going to push up towards 40 for me. Maybe even a little more hop with it wouldn't hurt, but it's just kind of clean and smooth and drinkable. I'd like to hear what JP has to say about it too, and just keep in mind that it's aged a bit too. And I judged it a month and a half ago.
I think it tastes like
37.
Shit. I think it tastes like garbage.
Complete garbage.
Yeah. And now I'm going to end my own life because I drank it. No, yeah, I agree with what you said, Cooper. It definitely could use a little more carbonation. I mean, the head on that's pretty good, but it sort of feels like it loses it in the body a little bit.
Yeah, that was Char's comment more.
Char, okay.
Yeah.
Well, you guys are the same person, basically. So I think it needs that, but I do get a little sort of raisiny, quality to it, which could be just the age, and so we'll just say that's what that is. I like the flavors overall. I don't think there's anything wrong with the beer. There's no fermentation off flavors or whatever. I do think, and maybe it's the raisiny, I'm not saying DMS, but like sweet, like all other sweetness kind of happening. I wanted a little drier, a little more crisp, a little more bright. To me, this is almost like, I don't know, English pale levels of sweet. If you guys can back me up on that, I don't know if I'm going out on a limb with that.
It's a little fuller bodied, fuller sweetness blonde ale.
Yeah.
Like you would get in the old days in one of those places, microbrewery.
It's like Ben's head of hair. It's very full, and I want it to be like mine, which is wispy and lame. not awesome at all.
Yeah, it's definitely I think the aging is sweetened it up quite a bit.
Yeah, it could be oxidation or whatever.
Yeah.
But I think you can definitely, with beers like this, you can see what it used to be, and I think that's a good testament. Like, we talk about packaging and how you have to have good packaging, and that makes the beer shine, and all this kind of stuff, and that's the goal, right? It's to like see how long you can get out of the beer style. But I think that there's something to be said about beers that can sort of still shine through all of that, and you can still pick it out. So I'm pretty confident I can tell what this beer was tasting like before, if it was drank in a reasonable time. I like it. I think it's good. I want a little more zhuzh, a little more brightness at the end there to clean it up. But yeah, I think it's great. I think it's really good.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, 36. With that, I had to score it.
Okay. Yeah, that's in the high end of very good category. Generally within the style parameters, some minor flaws. If you look at the scoring guide on every score sheet that's out there,
I think that fits. I think that I'm happy with that score. Ben, what's the recipe, man? Let's do that.
What is the recipe? All right. Well, and this kind of goes towards the muddled comments. So the recipe was 6 pounds of two-row, 6 pounds of Pilsner, so kind of split half and half there, and then 8 ounces of Munich 1, 8 ounces of Munich 2. And then we've got a half ounce of Magnum for bittering at 60 minutes, and then an ounce each of Sterling and Saphir, basically at flame out. And then 001 for the yeast. And that's it.
Well, when I told you to use 001, and do I have egg on my face now?
I was curious though, Shar. The comment you mentioned, it seemed fruity, I think. What would your guess be as to where that's coming from? Like, is that a yeast thing or?
Sorry, I just have my mic boom just come off for no reason. That's just let me just hold on to it for a while here while we.
Issues,
Yeah, I want you to work through this, Brian.
Technical difficulties. Please stand by. Ben, I'm sorry. I judged this a while back, and I don't have the
it is
in
tough.
front of me.
Yeah.
Looking at my score sheet, I'm wondering if somehow mine had gotten shaken up and had not settled down. I don't remember exactly when I had got, how long before the show had gotten that from, Cooper JP or something. And it's entirely possible that, was this bottle conditioned or was this bottled off a keg?
It was bottled off a keg.
Okay.
It was. Yeah.
Doesn't mean you can't get yeast in there. And I don't know. That could have happened. It's possible that it's just, whenever you bottle, things can go wrong.
I think it just
and there could have been something left in there, some wild. Although usually if there's wild yeast, you're going to have it's going to be overcarbonated, and you're going to have some off flavors.
Yeah,
having said that, I mean, you can have bottle to bottle variation, and I suspect that's what happened here for me.
I mean, I'm smelling it. I'm the only one who has any. So you stir it up. It might just be a fruity ester from fermentation.
I have some.
You have some. Oh, look at that.
Yeah. No, it does have a fair amount of haze, and it's been in my fridge. I left it in there since, and I just took it out. It's, maybe been moved around a little bit in the door of the fridge, but it's not, it's still pretty hazy. I think it just has a permanent chill haze, some hop polyphenols combining with some proteins from your malt and just staying in there. But you can clear that up. There's ways to do that. But what do you think about the Munich 1 and 2 combo there, guys? It's, I think you've added something to keep the malt interesting, but
yeah, probably not necessary. It was just something I was trying. Yeah. Usually
it's always good to experiment, but I don't, especially for a beer that's not like a real big beer. Yeah. I'm not sure you're really getting a lot out of that.
You can either lighten it up or just do the blend of the Pils and two-row and leave it at that, Yeah. It was Pils and two-row, right?
Pils and two-row and
half. That's great. Yeah. That would make a nice blonde ale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you're good, man.
Yeah.
I think you're
good. But it didn't add too much color, it's just a little.
Mine's looking pretty golden now. I don't know if, to me, it's going towards amber, but that's probably a little bit of age too. It definitely is darkened.
Yeah. As you get the oxidation coming in, it gets a little grayish. I want to call it.
Yeah, gray. Yeah. When I was pouring the glass, that kind of looks grayish. But maybe you have aliens on the brain. I don't know.
The bright yellow that you you want.
Yeah. But I was kind of, I was interested to see how it aged too, because I don't have a beer gun or a counter pressure filler. It's just a wand. So it's definitely oxidizing, with time. So, yeah.
Well, you can still purge bottles, and I bottle with a wand, and for competitions and for club comps, and just make sure you do it as quick before the judging as possible. But I just have a stopper in my wand, and I just do kind of a pretend counter pressure, and just let it fill up until it kind of stops filling, and then kind of push on the stopper until it lets a little more in, and it starts coming up without foaming up like mad. And it's kind of an art form, it's fun
to, absolutely
fun to do that. I've never had a beer gun either. I don't know that I need or want one.
Yeah, I've got enough. I spent enough money on equipment.
Yeah. Okay, where are we with the things here, Cooper? What do we need from Ben?
Well, We need him to send us more beer.
Well,
More
yeah,
beer.
I mean, obviously.
I do have a barley wine that's aging for you guys. It'll be ready.
Okay.
When it's ready, it'll be sent.
We're
Nice.
challenging everyone to brew Mexican lagers with our recipe.
Yes, and if you want a Mexican lager, I can do that as well.
Hey, man, if you want a Mexican lager, that's their gift to you.
You just have to use
Who
a
doesn't
different-
want Mexican lager?
Oh, dude, it's so good. It's such a good style.
different yeast than we did.
Yeah. Oh, don't look now, but you have a Pikachu behind you. Is that a Pikachu? Panda bear?
Detective Pikachu.
Yeah.
Bear of some sort.
Anything else, Ben? You need something? Any questions you have for us?
No, we're good, I think.
All right. Good
I
job,
think you
man.
nailed it. Yeah.
All right. Well, I appreciate it. Thanks again.
All right. Thanks, guys.
And
Yeah, thanks for sharing, man.
We'll see you.
All right.
All right, brother. All right, let's take a quick break. We'll come back. We'll talk. What are we going to talk about? My beer.
We're doing your
Yeah.
cream ale.
And then I thought it'd be fun to drink Hop Splash. Talking about that, the Sierra Nevada version of basically hoppy refresher from Lagunitas, which is interesting because they carded me for this, and I'm like, why are you? I mean, I'm happy.
Yeah,
I'm happy to do the thing, but like, why?
Did
She's
they
like,
do
well,
that? Was it Safeway?
it was Rayleigh's. Said it was
'cause
said it's zero
Safeway-
alcohol, and I'm like, well, yeah, it's water. It's literally water. She goes, she's looking at it. She's oh. Like, yeah, because I don't know. I scanned it and they asked me to do the thing. I'm like, look,
They do
it's
that
not
to
you.
me at Safeway too for like the hoppy refresher. I'm like, really? It says zero alcohol.
That's what I
There's
said.
no
Like,
alcohol right here in this.
Yeah, the big word
Yeah.
is zero right there.
I mean, I can understand with the Heineken 0.0 when I buy that.
Yes,
yeah,
sure.
that's fine.
But
But it's
all right, let's take a quick break. We'll be right back, everyone. Hang on, it's Dr. Homebrew. What's up, homebrewers? Hey, let me ask you a question. You spend a lot of time making your beer taste the way you want it to, right? Some of you even send beers into Dr. Homebrew for feedback. Well, the next logical step in your creativity is to craft some labels for those beers. And there's nobody better at creative labels than Grog Tag. Their easy-to-use designs let you turn out some pretty amazing stuff like labels, bottle caps, coasters, even six-pack carriers with minimal effort on your part. They have a range of label sizes that fit any vessel you can think of. Bottles, cans, growlers, kegs. GrogTag has you covered. Head over to grogtag.com today and check out their line of amazing, fully customizable templates and get your beer looking its best. Grog tags are water resistant, reusable, and will have your naked bottles looking great in no time. That's grogtag.com, and be sure to use code BNARMY at checkout to save 10% on your order.
Pausa rapidinho agora para falar de dica de ouro para os papais e mamães. Depois de experimentar a nova Hug Supreme Care Fralda Roupinha, tudo ficou ainda melhor para o meu filho. É a única com canais em X que se adaptam aos movimentos, com 2 vezes proteção noturna e cintura elástica que se adapta ao corpinho do bebê, além de ser super fácil de colocar e tirar. Praticidade pura. Então guarda essa dica. Nova Hug Supreme Care Fralda Roupinha. Bebê, estamos juntos nessa, mais do que nunca. Agora curta seu podcast.
Dr. Homebrew, please report to the ER for code blue. Dr. Homebrew to the ER, please. Oh, and your tea time has been moved to 2:30.
All right, thanks for hanging on, buddy. We are back, and we are judging a beer that I brewed. Once again, I am producing content for this show. So I called this a cream ale. And then I posted the recipe online, and someone said, that's not a cream ale. And I said, fuck you. So that's sort of why I wanted to talk about this, because I don't know that it's a cream ale. I don't know. So I'm entering it as a cream ale, judges. And Shar, if you would mind starting us off with the judging here on this, please.
Okay, that's lovely. JP, are you in a homebrew club?
No, I think people in homebrew clubs are losers, and I don't want anything to do with them.
you are in the Brewing Network.
I guess, yeah, I don't know. If I entered competitions, I would say Brewing Network.
Oh man, if I start brewing again, now that I'm living in Concord, I'd probably be a Doe's member.
Yeah, you could do that
That'll
too.
be we have this whole words of wisdom to Doe's pipeline from people that move out to the East Bay. They just joined Doe's. It's kind of funny, but anyway, not relevant to this. So cream ale, bottle inspection NA. You gave this to me in a small growler, a little tiny cute one. It was nice.
Yeah.
aroma, low malt aroma, low corn aroma, no hop aroma, which is okay for style. I've had that one before. That's a good one. Back when Dave had all that hair. Let's see. No off aromas, no esters. Thought it was inviting and well done. It tasted like the grain without being grainy, if that makes sense. Or tasted like the malt. Let's put it that way. It tasted like malt, but in a good way. Okay. So I gave that 10 out of 12. Appearance, 3 out of 3. Crystal clear, exceptionally so. I'm going to hold this up. This is like so, if it wasn't for like, optical effects and lenses and whatever, you can see my face through this thing. It's just very, very clear. I'm going to make a guess that you use some of that Viking Extra Pale. We'll find out later on. Head is low, white, and moderately persistent. Extremely pale straw color. Again, 3 out of 3. Flavor is low malt, crisp with low hop bitterness coming up to balance mid palate. Low corn also kind of comes up to balance mid palate. Not to balance, it comes up to like a low level mid palate. I can't pick out flavor hops, but again, that's technically your flavor hops should be present at a low level. But I know you're such a hop head too, Jason. So
that's true.
I'm shocked not to find like prominent flavor hops, just poking out through this. It's well attenuated. The finish is long and balanced and very pleasant. As it warms up, there is some low pumpkin skin / acetaldehyde as it gets warmer.
You're fired. How dare you?
Yeah, damn it. Well, it's been a good run, you guys.
Yeah.
I'll tell you how that Mexican lager turned out. But looking at the score sheet or at the guidelines, what's interesting is that DMS is often acceptable at low levels in certain very light lagers, but acetaldehyde never is. So that's interesting. Okay. Something I just was thinking about. So I still give this 14 out of 20 because that pumpkin skin to me is low and it didn't come out. It changed my score a little bit when it warmed up by a couple of points. Nothing really that big of a deal.
Okay.
Mouthfeel. Body is low, as it should be. Carbonation is low, probably from the growler fill presentation. Again, we always talk about how packaging and carbonation go so hand in hand here, and it's not always super easy to deal with. You were kind enough to give me a small growler of this. So 1 point for carbonation, but that's clearly what happens.
All right.
Not a big deal. No warming. It is creamy. It's cream ale. It's creamy. No astringency, 4 out of 5. Overall impression, I gave you a 9 for a total of 40 out of 50. That is an excellent score. There isn't much to do to this beer. There isn't much to this beer, and that's the point. I mean, to me, It's refreshing. It's light. It's tasty. I'm going to drink the rest of that growler, man. I'm not going to. I've judged this. I'm not going to drink it all tonight, although I could and not be smashed at bedtime. I'm going to finish that off. It's real good.
You should.
The only off flavor was a little that acetaldehyde as it warmed up. Sometimes with a light beer like this, whether it's a cream ale or a light lager or whatever, there can be something that just kind of turns unpleasant in the finish. And I'm never quite sure what that is, but it could be commercial or homebrew. But if something can just kind of, it's good. And then it finish, that finish arrives like, that's not good.
I think it's wise. I think it's part of the reason why these beers don't travel well.
Yeah.
Like light lagers like this in general. I don't think it's just because, they're light and they show flaws or whatever. I think it's a yeast combined with the adjunct thing or something like that. I agree with you. Like, you can get relatively fresh like Modelo, and sometimes it just tastes like fucking dog shit.
Yeah.
And I don't know why.
And I think that's more, and just personally, as a matter of personal taste, I think that happens more with a rice adjunct than a corn adjunct. But I don't know. It's one of those things I've been brewing for 30 years. I've been judging for 20 years. I still don't fully understand what that is in the finish in some of these very light lagers. I really like this beer. I think proper carbonation and getting rid of that acetaldehyde issue will easily take this up to like a 45.
Nice. That
So-
feels good, man. Yeah, at home
Well
it's
done.
more carbonated for sure. Thanks,
I'm
man.
sure it is.
All right, Coop. Top that, motherfucker.
right. Okay.
Mano a
Judging out,
mano
let's see.
for our Dr. Homebrew jobs right here.
Yeah, it's not a lager, though you just referred to it as a lager, Brian. It's an ale
Yeah.
in the name. Sorry.
Well, I know, but I'm thinking about
Got
very
his
light
ass.
beers, and it could
Yeah.
be a lager. It
Light,
could be an
yeah,
ale.
there's a lot of light lagers that are.
Yeah.
This is the
Yeah, I
ale
said-
version of Budweiser.
I said
right?
Modelo.
I was doing
and
a little
like,
bit of a
that's not okay,
shorthand,
bro.
so I'm
Yeah.
sorry about that.
No, yeah, I don't know that you were referring to this as a lager, but I just wanted to straighten it, make sure everybody knows. Yeah, it's you don't really lager these. You don't brew. Well, you could brew it with lager yeast, but you would brew it at ale temperatures. Anyway, yeah, cute growler. This mine says wavy brown locks.
That's
And
right.
it has a nice.
Those are made with
this
grog
is
tags.
One of your old grog tag labels.
That has been on there for, I don't know, 10 years, 8 years.
Don't be shy. Let the nose be your guide.
Yeah.
Wavy
All right,
brown
tell me about my
locks,
beer.
brown ale. There was 4 fingers of headspace on the tiny growler. I wasn't even kidding. It was like way down.
Yeah, that's all I
Small
could
growler.
do. I did it on foam. It's the problem with
Yeah.
that growler is that it goes from
It goes
side
up to that
to
tiny-
neck. So the one I gave
Yeah.
Shar is a little bit forgiving in the neck, so he got more. Yeah, so
Yeah.
yeah.
Do you use a stopper or it's just like
No. I literally just turn the
Holding off the
carbonation
tank.
down on the tank and just open the tap and just
Yeah.
I purge it with CO2.
Yeah.
I just stick my finger
Yeah.
in there, or whatever, and then for about a minute, and then I just open the tap,
Cool.
pour it in.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not getting oxidation problems or anything. So in the nose, it has a fairly strong grainy malt note up front, a bit sharp, and it's not very sweet seeming. But it has a. I think I was the one that talked Brian into the pumpkin skin. I was getting something in there that's like just a little sharpness, and when I get a really light pumpkin skin, it does that to me. It's a sharpness that's kind of undefined, or it can go towards pumpkin skin. Like I was questioning it. If whatever it is, it's only a slight distraction. The esters are pretty low and out of the way. It's not a super fruity beer in any sense of the word, but it's got a little whiff of sulfur, I'd say. No diacetyl, but yeah, fairly clean. I'm struggling to find much in the way of corn here. It's not heavy corn. It's just mostly malt, grainy malt. Appearance wise, it's a clear yellow beer with a fine white head of bubbles, but moderately poor retention. There's a wisp of foam that remains as a cover and a collar type bubbles left behind. It just kind of dies. That's fine. Drop to the point there. Whatever. I liked the flavor. The flavor was pleasantly malty, grainy and light, but not watery. It's at a really good level for this kind of a beer. It's light, but it's not lacking flavor and depth. I even felt like that alcohol was a tiny bit noticeable here, but it's not like super alcoholic or anything. It's just something there, very light. There's a noticeable kind of minerally quality to the water that's accenting the medium low bitterness, but it's not harsh. It was also, the first beer I had tonight, and now it's tasting a little less like that. That bite is a little less noticeable. There's a low herbal floral hop character in there. And it's just pretty dry, clean fermentation, low ale, kind of low ester ale fermentation character. I'm struggling to get much corn. There's maybe a little bit in the aftertaste. I'm not fully convinced it's there. Mouthfeel wise, it's light and somewhat crisp. Sometimes corn can just lighten the body and it just goes away, and you don't get that much of the actual corn flavor. Mouthfeel wise, light and somewhat crisp, which is enjoyable. It's refreshing, medium low carbonation, no warmth. It's not very creamy or smooth. There was just something a little bit biting in it that I thought it was like maybe a faint astringency, but the bitterness or just first beer syndrome. The first beer you judge is always a little rougher, and but it wasn't too distracting at all. So it's okay. Pretty good overall. Just a pretty good lawnmower beer. In some ways, maybe not quite as smooth and refreshing as I hoped for this beer. It's got a lot of body to it, and you need to lighten it up. You need to lighten up that body a little bit more. The finish needs to be drier, and use more adjunct if there is adjunct used, which there should be in this beer. Definitely needs more CO2, which will help a lot too. Could dial back the minerals just a little bit, the sulfates especially. Needs to just be smoothed out a touch more here.
Okay.
To be an even better example of the style. As I'm tasting it, it's I kind of came up a tiny bit from where I was, but I'm giving it a 35.
35.
I came up 1 point.
And you came up from a third. Oh my goodness.
I know, right? Now I'm fired too.
Oh my God. Shar is my favorite broadcaster.
I don't think there's enough corn flavor in here, and I don't.
Yeah.
If you did, how much corn was in there? I don't know, but if it's not 20%, get up to 20%.
Okay. Okay. Are you ready?
Yeah.
There is no corn in here. So here's the recipe for the Brewzilla: 4 pounds 6 ounces of German Pilsner, which I'm probably use the Wireman. 3 pounds 8 ounces of 2-row. I don't remember what I used. I might have used the Viking malt because it was like there or whatever. I don't really remember. 1 pound 2 ounces flaked rice.
Really?
Okay.
This is a rice beer and not a corn beer.
Yes.
Fascinating.
And then 4 ounces of table sugar.
Wow. You totally tricked me, man.
And then the hops are 0.4 ounce of Liberty at 8.2 alpha for 60 minutes, and then 1 ounce of Liberty for 1 minute at the boil. Fermented with the Omega Kolsch 2 yeast.
Oh.
So Cooper was right. It was not lagered. It was fermented. Oh, God, what the fuck temperature was it? It was I tried to keep it on the low end because I didn't want to pump out a whole lot of fruity esters or whatever. And I was going through it and I was like, what yeast do I even use for a cream ale? Who knows? A lot of people were like, oh, just WOP 001. I'm like, I want to be a little more homebrewery than that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I want something. And I forget where someone was like, yeah, Kolsch can do the same thing. I'm like, oh, okay. And then I'm trying to, Omega yeast Kolsch 2. Okay, sure. Why not? Let's try it. Let's see.
I like that about it. I like that it doesn't have a lot of ester, and it shouldn't. It's not like supposed to be an ester bomb.
It's not bad. It's not bad. I think that yeast gave it enough of an interesting character where it's not that light Pilsner. This is just grain water. That's because that's not what I wanted either. Like I specifically was trying to not do that. So is this a cream ale?
You might try it as a Kolsch even. It's it's clean and interesting enough and rich enough, but there's just not.
If you got this at a bar, would you go, hey, this is a good cream ale, it's a decent cream ale, or would you go, this is not a cream ale, we're leaving?
Aroma. Reading the aroma section, medium low to low malt notes with a sweet corn-like aroma. That means it's not optional. You need to have, and characteristic ingredients: American 6-row malt, combination of 6-row and North American 2-row, up to 20% maize in the mash, and up to 20% sugar in the boil.
Okay, so here's why I used rice, is because in this book, I don't know if you've heard about it, it's called Brewing Classic Styles. Okay, it's by a guy called
Jamal
Zainai Chief and June Palmer. In his recipe in a cream ale, it says weed, feed, and mow. It's rice syrup.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, okay. And this is what I used to start off on that. I'm like, okay, well, rice. Okay, interesting. So it could have corn or rice. But apparently I don't know, man. He says, that being the case, the recipe is very similar to an American light lager and uses a fair amount of adjunct. Some brewers prefer to use a corn-based adjunct. In this case, I like rice, as it has a very clean flavor.
Right.
And then it goes on and gives the thing. So, I don't know. Yeah. That's why someone's online like, I'm from the Midwest. This is not a cream ale, you asshole.
Well, yeah. So there's two different, there's two different kinds of, more than two different kinds, but there's two different kinds of basic American lagers. There's the rice-based ones, and there's the corn-based ones primarily. And, or some of them may use a combination, but they use that to lighten up the body. And the rice is going to pull away more flavor, where it's just fairly neutral and not maybe a little grainy, whereas the corn adds the little edge, a little sweetness, a little corniness to it, maybe a little sulfur. I kept grasping for that corn, but it wasn't really there. But I can sense that it's a clean beer. It's really enjoyable and quite drinkable.
I kind of like it. Like, I really enjoyed the aroma of the mash with that rice in there, and I was drinking the wort as, sitting there as I was taking my, gravity and waiting for the beer to cool down over. Yeah, and I'm like, I was telling Taryn, I was like, I could literally drink this now the way it is. Uncarbonated, warm, I will drink it. It tasted so good. I've never had a wort taste this, I don't want to say dynamic, but it was just so satisfying to drink it. It was really good. So I recommend this beer, whatever the fuck it is. It's not a cream ale. What's a light American lager, rice lager? It's
not a lager though. It's
not a lager. You're right. I don't know why I keep saying that.
It's more of like the hybrid style, like a Kolsch.
Hybrid. Okay. All right. Kolsch with rice and table sugar. So
I don't know.
It was supposed to end up being a 1049, but it ended up measuring at 1054. That was the other thing I wanted to mention. That's probably why you're getting a little more body.
I could pick up a little alcohol. I could pick up a little body.
And that's why with this beer, I'm deciding to fill my my Brewzilla to 6.5 gallons pre-boil instead of just like, eyeballing it or measuring it or whatever. I'm trying to get to that level because I think I had too little in the boil kettle. I know I didn't get straight 5 gallons out of this thing. So I'm trying to that's that thing I sort of forgot about, working with your equipment is trying to, you got to dial it in and figure it out. Mm-hmm. So I think 6.5 gallons right at the gallon mark. And the RoboBrew or the Brewzilla has the markings on it. So it makes it really easy to just add a little more water and there you go. That's what I didn't do with this. That's what I did do with the other one. And I was only 2 points off, or 3 points off. So this is a little bit more than that. It's 5 points.
I would say just adding the carbonation that's missing to this would bring it up to more like a 37.
Yeah, and at my house it is. So yeah,
lightening up the body, lightening up everything a little bit.
Yeah,
consider using corn if you want to make a rice-based one, or do a blend of rice and corn. It doesn't matter.
Well, I mean, if the thing is corn, I'll use corn. I just didn't know that was the thing. I don't read the styles. I'm just
reading off the guidelines as I'm judging it, and it's like medium light corn. I'm like, where's the corn? It's nice, but where's that? You expect it. There could be an argument out there. I mean, because it is, like you said, there's a couple different flavors of lagers. Cream ale is a reaction to an ale brewer's version of of the light American popular lagers back, and trying to compete with them and make something light and drinkable.
Yeah.
This is very nice, fairly light and very drinkable.
Yeah.
So it could really be easy to bring it up to a 40 if you brewed this again. And
I liked it. I think it was pretty good, man.
Yeah.
And on that Brewzilla, it's fucking easy as shit.
Cool.
It's fun.
I drink this and I go back and forth between deciding if I taste corn or rice. It's weird for me. Seriously.
You said that. You said corn, and I was like, oh, man, I'm going to get this motherfucker so good.
You got me good, man. But sometimes I'll take a sip and it's rice. Sometimes take a sip and it's corn. And I don't know, maybe it's just maybe you just did you cereal mash with these? Were they?
No, use flakes.
Flakes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Weird. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's like the guy at the Doe's meeting that tricked us with his wit beer that had no coriander in it.
Yeah, that's right. All right, let's take a quick break. It's our last break. We're going to come back. I want to talk about Hop Splash real fast because I've said it before. This thing has a ton of hops in it, and it's sort of weird for me. So anyway, hang on. It's Dr. Homebrew. We'll be right back.
I'm sorry to tell you this, but we're going to have to pour you out.
Back to Dr. Homebrew.
All right, thanks for sticking around. We're going to wrap it up here, but what I want to do is talk about the Sierra Nevada Hop Splash. It's not a paid thing. I felt like, well, number one, we need shit to talk about. But this is something definitely new. We talked about the Lagunitas Hoppy Refresher, which to me is my favorite. I've had a couple... I think I maybe have had one or two of these kind of hop water things. The Lagunitas one is the best product Lagunitas probably has ever made, except their Dogtown Pale Ale. So this is the Sierra Nevada version of the Hoppy Refresher, Hop Water. And I want to get your guys' take on it. And I'll tell you mine. I've told you mine before, but I'll reiterate it after this. But what do you guys think about this carbonated hop water? First impression. I mean, you smell it, and it's like Amarillo. It's like opening a bag of like Amarillo cryo hops. It's so. It's like It's like and it really is. If you've never done that, that's what this is. It's the
very,
bag.
very hoppy. Yeah,
it is extremely. It hits you in the face with the hop aroma.
Yeah,
it's very seltzery too. Like, so the background, the hop water has that little edge of like impression of sweetness almost, or
it
something
does.
That's
yes,
a little
like.
Does it have some actual sugars in there, or is it just an impression of it?
I think it's just an impression of it. I don't actually know.
Little something. This is just like straight like seltzer with hops.
So looking at the ingredients, it's water, hops, and carbon dioxide. Whereas with the Hoppy Refresher, they have yeast in there. They have brewer's yeast.
Right.
So I wonder if that's. Excuse me, I've taken 2 sips of this and I'm overly gassy.
They don't put any like fruit or anything. There's no lemon or.
They do have flavored versions out there. I haven't tried yet.
Right.
But yeah, there's nothing. So I think, and that's what Jeremy, I remember eavesdropping on a conversation or hearing it somewhere else, but it was like the presence of the yeast sort of does something different to the way that the hops are, absorbed through the water. And so Sierra Nevada presumably doesn't. And so this is, I imagine, what you get when you just add, I'm imagining cryo hops.
Hop water.
To water, yeah.
It's extremely lightly hazy, if you can maybe tell in the glass here. But like the Hoppy Refresher isn't. And this just doesn't come together for me. I mean, this is like, it's not bad, but it's a little... Like the first sip, it's not that much different from a Hoppy Refresher. And then as it kind of goes on, it's a little harsh. And maybe it's the carbonation level, and maybe it's, and I hate to, crap on Sierra Nevada because so many of their products I just truly love, and I've just really loved over the many, many years. I just don't know. This doesn't seem like it's very harmonious. It's hops and it's some very carbonated, seltzery water.
Which I love a good
I'm
seltzer
burping
water.
Too.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it doesn't come together for me.
And that's Go ahead.
I'm not a seltzer guy so much. I drink regular water, or I drink beer or coffee, or I don't.
Yeah,
really
see, I'm upper middle class,
water.
So I like carbonated water.
Right.
I don't know.
It just makes you burp, and it's acidic, and
it's acidic.
Carbonic acid. It has a flavor. It has this carbonic.
Yeah. For me, it's
to it.
Like drinking a can of carbonated water. It's thirst quenching in the way that a glass of water isn't. I don't know. It's weird. Mm-hmm. For me, these are aggressively hopped. Like, I mean, aggressively hopped.
I like that. I think that the hop aspect of it is better, than the Lagunitas one, because those aren't hoppy enough. If you get a Hoppy Refresher, it's like, well, it's kind of hoppy. It's there, but this is very substantially hoppy, and I like that.
The way I compare the two is this is like bitterness. The Lagunitas version is flavor.
It's a little softer, and it has a more of a beer-like aspect to it, almost with the yeasts.
Yeah.
That's there. So.
This is very green, very. It's like I'm eating cryo hop powder.
Right.
And it's sort of it doesn't. So I think what you were saying, Charlie, it doesn't resonate with me. My wife loves it, but I just can't. I don't know. I can't. It's as it sits in my mouth, it's sort of almost aspirin-y. It's almost too much.
Yeah.
When I first time I had it, I texted with
Ken Grossman.
No, with Ken. No, someone there.
Ken.
And just debating whether or not to say anything. And I was like, oh yeah, and they're like, what do you think? And I'm like, And they're like, yeah, that's sort of what I thought too. I'm like, okay, as long as it's not like, if I say my opinion, I'm not shitting all over it. I don't feel bad. I have, literally 10 of a 12 pack of pale ale in my fridge, so I don't really care too much.
When I think of, a blend between this and the other approach would be interesting too, where you have a lot more hop along with that yeast derived aspect that gives it a little more perception of sweetness or a beer like character or a little edge or a little smoothness to it along with it. This has the sharpness of just a carbonic acid with a lot of hop, and that's nice in its own way. I can understand why your wife likes it. I'm a hop head. I like the aroma of this a lot better than the Lagunitas one, but in the flavor, it's seltzer with hop. It's seltzer with hop, and there's nothing else there.
Yeah,
I like the underlying aspect of the hoppy refresher. But I don't drink a lot of that. Well, this is my first time trying this one, but I probably wouldn't drink a lot of this or a lot of the hoppy refresher. The nice thing about it is that they're all 0 calories and you can just drink it like you're having a beverage that is flavored.
Well, that's why we started drinking them. And the hoppy refresher was in bottles and they moved to cans and they're not as carbonated. And I don't like them as much.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't find the bottles anymore. The bottles were like almost over-carbonated. They were so highly carbonated, and it worked really well with the sweetness, right? But in the cans, they're not. They're not as carbonated, and so it doesn't really work well. It's not as like I haven't had one in like 4 months.
I think I would probably rather, if I want hops, I'm just going to have an IPA or a pale ale or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't just need it with water. It's missing something. It's missing the malt, the complexity underneath it that balances the hops. That gives it something special. I'm just going to have a seltzer water. Give me something that's fruity or, a berry or a lemon or lime or whatever. Something that has a little fruit flavor to it or something.
Yeah, I hear you.
Berry. I don't know. I don't drink a lot of seltzers, but I had some at a pool party the other weekend. It was like, it's kind of nice.
Seltzers are not bad, dude.
So I drank a lot of I don't drink the alcoholic seltzers, but I drank like just a, berry, whatever, or a raspberry something seltzer.
I can't do those,
refreshing and good.
I can't do those. I don't like them. I like nothing. Like nothing. Yeah. So, and as this warms up, it gets worse. Like the greenness comes out. So I don't know. It'd be interesting.
I have to agree with you.
Yeah,
on that.
It'd be interesting to talk to somebody about how they make this. I think More Beer did a video with Lagunitas about how they make the hoppy refresher. So it'd be interesting to watch that, or actually probably just get Vito on because Vito was the one there, and we can talk about doing that. And that is an interesting concept, Cooper, to like blend the two designs, see what you get.
Or blend this with a beer and see what you get. like you could have a 2% IPA with a lot of hops.
Dude, this with like one of the non-alcoholic, like the Athletic Brewing Blonde Ale.
Yeah,
this is fucking.
It would hop it up.
Yeah, man, why not water it down a little bit? Maybe the IPA. Yeah. I don't know. Anyway, I wanted to try it out. If you're after like an aggressive hop bitterness, but non-alcoholic and in your water, it's a great thing. Like I said, Taryn loves it. It doesn't work for me because I'm not really attracted to that flavor, that concept or that sensation. But if you're in the market for something like that, something aggressively hopped, it's great. It's done well.
Bitterness. The other question is the bitterness. Is it? Do we have isomerized, hop in here? Is it? It's not boiled. There's no.
Well, I don't know. Maybe they boil the water. I would guess. You think?
I doubt it. I don't know, but is it bitterness or is it just the hops that give you the impression of the bitterness? If you measured the IBUs in this, what would it be?
Oh yeah, no, I measured them with my IBU measurer.
Well, I'm sure Sierra Nevada probably measured them.
Oh my God! Of course, are you kidding me? Of course, man. They probably worked on this for 12 years.
Their lab and did everything to it. It'd be interesting to know what the IBUs are. It doesn't come across excessively bitter, like it bites your tongue. Harsh.
For me, it does, man. Absolutely. On the sides, okay. I can't. Yeah, it's right. I can't. Like, I won't finish this. I can't do it. It's too much for me. So back to this South Lake Brewing beer. God, Bill. Sorry, Bill. I keep butchering the name of your brewery you work at. Anyway, we're done. We're out of here. We're gone.
Well, if someone wants to send us beer, they can
Yes.
send us beer. And then, to do that, they would have to contact us. And to contact us, they would probably want to email Brian with an I at thebrewingnetwork.com and say, hey, I've got a beer. Will you take it? And we'll say, yes, absolutely. And then I'll send them a bunch of information that's way too long and full of flowery language and
Absolutely.
all the details and JP's address and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
But send us your best pale ale or Mexican lager or what have you.
Or hop water.
Hop water, yeah. We did a hop water thing at our club a couple meetings ago. It was fun.
Yeah, was it good?
Yeah, I mean, there was some variation just because different people did them a little bit different way. We all had the
Sure.
same recipe, but someone felt theirs was way too hoppy, so they watered it down. It's like, oh, that's a nice hop character, but it's watery.
Did you blend them all together, Brian? And
Of course he
hop
did.
water blend.
As a part of the exercise, we did actually blend it.
Yeah.
Everybody was assigned a hop, and so the intention was to see what hops go together out of the ones that were brought in, and
That's fun.
What works, and make little blends. So I was happy. It was fun.
You got to scratch
Nice.
that itch. All right, everyone. Thanks a lot for tuning in. And until next time, we'll see you.